So thanks to Scream Factory, we got this Exorcist 3 director's cut, which in the first thing they put in this movie is they put a little disclaimer where they say that they actually found all they could in terms of old film footage, but a lot of it was lost to time. So they found everything they could, VHS style or quality from VHS rips. But there was a lot of scenes that were just completely gone to time, so they tried their best to make the quote-unquote theatrical cut that... Not theatrical cut. Quote-unquote cut that William Peter Blatty wanted for real in terms of not being an Exorcist movie. And even in this cut, in the director's cut, it actually says Legion as the title. Like, it literally does not say Exorcist 3. Which is really interesting. This is an interesting director's cut, and this is my first time watching the director's cut. I've seen the theatrical cut many times. The director's cut, this is the first watch, so if I say anything wrong, forgive me, but I think that I'm going to talk about everything that is different in this movie. Things I don't like, things I like. Because there are some things I love in this director's cut that I was surprised that it just... You obviously can tell when there are new scenes because they're scenes with an aspect ratio smaller than a theatrical aspect ratio. Their VHS aspect ratio is like 4:3. Is that what it is? But you can obviously tell whenever there's new scenes or scenes that are added into this version. Now, like I said, they did an excerpt at the beginning where it's talking about how some of the scenes were lost to time and they used VHS quality scenes and tried their best to make them look better. And they did that in Silent Night, Deadly Night as well, where like they had the unrated footage and put it in there. But you can tell, obviously, that it's different, but they tried their absolute best, which I commend them, because this is still cool, regardless of if these scenes don't look the same as the other scenes. It still is such a great, awesome thing that you can do this, that this company can go out and do this for a movie that came out in 1990. That is awesome. I commend them for this so much. Just like with all their other releases that they do that for, like Silent Night Deadly Night, where they put in all the unrated cut scenes, even though they're different looking than the theatrical scenes. That still is commendable. I love that. It's such a great company. And the opening is now in black and white, which was pretty cool. Where it said Georgetown, 1975. Right, it was the night that Father Merrin was killed. And of course, this movie, like in my last review, I'm gonna skimp on the plot this time because I talked about the plot in the last one. Where the plot is that Father Karras died 15 years ago from this Exorcist 3 movie, so 15th anniversary, while the Gemini Killer died 15 years ago too. So I like how this opening is in black and white. It shows Father Karras falling down the stairs in black and white. That's really cool. That was a really cool opening for this. And the title changed to just Legion instead of The Exorcist 3. That's really cool. Now this is where I'm just going to say, like, first scene, second scene, third scene, like, of scenes that are inserted, VHS-style scenes, or you can tell they're VHS clips. Now, the first scene is nothing really. It just showed Kinnaman walking into his house just to show him walking in. I guess it built continuity instead of, like, not showing him walk in. So that was kind of a pointless scene, the first one. And then scene 2 was where Kinderman and Dyer are talking about movies, and they see a picture of Brad Dourif in on the wall. That's actually a pretty cool connection to actually insert into this cut. Where, like, it reminded me of The Shining, where, like, Jack Torrance is, like, in the picture. That's really cool. Like, it reminded me of that. It was in black and white too, and at a similar looking party, like The Shining. And then the third scene is where Dyer is in a hospital, and he said, like, he doesn't want them to draw his blood again. And I noticed that might just have built to where maybe somebody who is possessed, like one of the Canatonics maybe did it. But we never got the full explanation if it did, so I don't know. But that scene was okay. And then we get a fourth scene, extra scene, where Dyer and Kinnaman are talking about Canavan's death, and it was just kind of added to it. And then scene 5 is where that's added is where Kinderman finds Patient X, and he's unaware of his importance yet, but he just sees him in the room. Like, that's kind of a cool build-up thing, but it's just kind of pointless. Well, actually, that's more warranted, I think, than a couple of scenes I've already mentioned. And then there's a scene where Patient X hears the middle name of Dyer, implying that he knows, so he sent off a catatonic to kill him. That's kind of cool. And then there's another scene where Kinderman goes and sees Patient X, who says that he is a Gemini killer, and then he goes and checks files on the Gemini killer. I don't know, like, all these scenes can be pointless sometimes, but then sometimes they can be really warranted. Like, I do like some of these scenes a lot that are added. And then there's also a scene where Patient X, like, he mentions It's a Wonderful Life, implying that he is the one using the catatonics to kill because they wrote that in blood. That's pretty cool. And then there's a good scene that was added too, where I really liked, where Kinderman goes to dig up Karras's grave, and then Karras actually isn't in there, and it's another guy. And I liked how they talk about it later, where this guy who's in his 80s was found in a grave, and it was Karras's grave, so Karras is gone. That's really cool. That wasn't anything in the theatrical cut at all. That's really awesome that they added that in it. Now, this scene, on my paper it says scene 11. On this scene alone is the reason you've got to watch this director's cut. This is an incredible scene. Brad Dourif in these scenes that are cut, like, it is so incredibly heartbreaking, because Brad Dourif, these are some of his best, like, scenes I've ever seen him in some movies. Like, this scene alone. This scene starts out where Father Karras comes in and says, "Who are you to him?" And he says, "Not one, many." And then he does all these voices, like random voices, like he can do any voice in the world. Like a horse and like a train. Like, he does random things. And then he just, like, it's cool that he does that. And then there's a really great scene where he's talking about, because Kinderman talks to him, he says, "Why you, like, I'm talking to him about killing." And Patient X just says, "I do it random. It's the thrill of it. I love the thrill of it." And because Brad Dourif is such a fantastic actor, that line of him saying that is disturbing as hell and creepy and so scary. Whenever he says, "I just do it for the fun of it. I do it randomly." That is terrifying. Really, really terrifying. And he also talked about how he was being trained by the Master, which we never know who the Master is. He said the One. Again, we don't know who it is, but that's really cool, and I like how secretive they keep that. And this reminds me of something out of The Dark Knight, like Heath Ledger would say. But this is an incredible line in that scene where Brad Dourif, Patient X, is talking about. He says to Kinderman, "Did you know that whenever you get decapitated, your head for 20 seconds can still see what's going on? So what I do is I pick up their head and show them their body, so I can show them my creation." Oh my god, that is fucking terrifying. Like, I love those lines. Like, that is Brad Dourif. This is some of his best lines I've ever seen in any movie, and I love that. That is horrible and horrifying. He's so believable as this scary killer. Like, I love it. I love how incredibly fantastic of an actor Brad Dourif is, and these scenes are cut from the theatrical cut. It is so sad that people never get to see this until now. That is so horrible. And I don't know. Like, this scene is incredible, and he's one of the most this is one of the most frightening scenes I've ever seen him in any movie. And it just, like, I could tell when it's theatrical, because, like I said, the aspect ratio changes so drastically, where there's only like 2 lines of dialogue whenever Kinderman is talking to Patient X in the theatrical cut, and all this good lines are cut. This fantastic performance is cut. And it's not in the theatrical cut at all. That's so horrible. But I'm so glad I got to see this, because this is so incredible to see his performance that was butchered. Like, that's horrible. but everything else was lost to the sands of time. But at least we got these couple of clips where he is incredible, Brad Dourif, in these scenes. And I've also talked about the scene that just happens afterward, where Kinderman figures out that Karis is like that isn't his body in the grave. That was the next scene that was added. And then we get to this other scene, scene 13, where again Brad Dourif is incredible. Kinderman is talking again to Patient X. These conversations are incredible. Whenever he's talking to him in the cell, Kinderman talks to Patient X, and Patient X wants him to put it in the paper, like the Gemini killer is still alive, like he's still doing it. And he talks about how his master wanted to make this plan of using the body of a priest to instill fear in people, and it took him 15 years to bring back Karis and to bring back this fear. And I love how this humanizes the Patient X as well, because Brad Dourif is such an incredible actor. Again, like, this scene is incredible where Brad Dourif is saying that he has two dreams about falling downstairs but also being the Gemini killer, and it humanizes him the way he describes how he is doing both of these and he doesn't know which one he is. It really humanizes his character and makes his character so fascinating, so interesting, because of the fantastic performance and how it's written. I just love everything about these couple of scenes that are cut. Those two scenes in particular, the scenes in the cell with Patient X, are just incredible. And then there's a little pointless scene where Kinderman calls Father Healy, which was kind of okay. And then another scene where it shows Patient X sleeping while possessing the woman who goes to Kinderman's house. That was kind of a cool addition. That was a cool add-on to the movie. I like that a lot. And then this scene, second to last scene... Oh, no, this is the last new scene in the movie, where this is so different than the theatrical cut, where Kinderman comes in after the hedge trimmers thing happens, and the woman isn't possessed anymore. He goes into Patient X's cell, and in the theatrical cut, there's the exorcism, and the priest randomly shows up. In this one, Kinderman goes in there. He has a gun. He literally just shoots Patient X down and kills him. Just shoots him down and kills him. And then the movie shows the sun setting, and it ends. And I like that, but in terms of a narrative, like translating that to film, I feel like didn't... I know that William Peter Blatty didn't want the exorcism in the theatrical cut. Like, he wanted it just to be like his book, and apparently that's how the book is, where, like, at least I'm assuming that's how the book is, that Kinderman comes in and just flat out shoots Patient X down in the head, and shoots him a lot of times, and kills him. But honestly, the ending of the theatrical cut I prefer more, because it feels more theatrical, and it feels more like the ending was more warranted, if you know what I mean. Like, in this one, he just shoots him down and then it ends. Like, in the theatrical cut, it's like he has so much to suffer through Kinderman to be free of this guy who is possessed, and like he actually, like, bringing in Karis at the end, telling him to shoot him down, like, that made it more emotional, made it more good. In this one, it just flat out does it straight. Like, he goes in, he kills Patient X, it's over. But in the theatrical cut, it feels more theatrical in how it ends. Like, it just, with that climactic battle with the exorcism, and like seeing Karis say, kill me now, and then he shoots him. Like, that I liked more. So I guess I like the theatrical ending more. But this director's cut has so many things about it that are so horribly... It's so horrible that we don't have a lot of these scenes in the theatrical cut. Those two scenes, which are very long scenes, really great scenes, of Kinderman and Patient X in the cells, where Brad Dourif has some of the best scenes I've ever seen him in any movie. Like, his scenes that are cut in this movie are incredible. And it is so sad that that movie was neutered in that way, where like it was gone from the theatrical cut, and I hate that. But I love the fact that I got to see that with this cut. If you have not seen the director's cut, go out and see it. This is one of the coolest Scream Factory releases just on that fact that we get that. And isn't that artwork incredible? That is so cool. God, I love this movie, whether it's theatrical or the director's cut, which, again, this is the first time I watched the director's cut. But regardless, this just blew me away, like, in a lot of ways, with the Brad Dourif scenes especially. A lot of the scenes are filler that are added there to bring continuity to the movie, but I don't think any of them are awful. They're just kind of just there, like, you don't have to show, like, Kinderman walking into his house, so, like... But the scenes with Brad Dourif are incredible and are so... It's so sad that they weren't in the theatrical cut. So again, go out and buy this. This is incredible. Incredible cut. Both cuts is included in this as well, so you can watch theatrical and directors. Go out and buy this. This is awesome. I love this movie. Love the first 3 Exorcist movies. And then we're going to get into the 2 prequels, which I don't like, and I've only seen once, so... Here's to watching the 2 movies I didn't like. So, yeah, next up is The Exorcist, The Beginning, and Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist. I'm not really excited for those, but whatever. I'll review them. I feel like I should, and I feel like I should watch them again just to remember what happened, because I remember nothing about either of them, so... And they're both similar. They're both prequels with Stellan Skarsgård, and they're both exactly the same almost, so... I need to rewatch it and remember. So next up will be the 2 Exorcist prequels. And I'm not really excited to watch them, but I will watch them regardless. So thanks, guys, for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe. Or comment, like, subscribe. And have a good one.